Look how my mom decorated my room. But let me get in my car and we'll make this video. Hold on. Alright, what's going on, guys? So I got in the car. I still have to be quiet in mom's house. Don't want to wake her up. Just got to the home for the holidays here in San Diego. So hope you guys are having a good Christmas, man. I love you. Honestly, I was gonna relax. I was like, all right, not gonna post a video, but then I kept reading the comments from the last video. I honestly love you guys. Honestly, it's great to see this has been helping you guys. And I said in the last video, I don't think you guys realize, like, this is what Christmas is about. Honestly, I didn't think I'd be able to actually help people with this like this, and the fact that people are making money, the market went down as much as it did, all this stuff. So I think it's kind of crazy. I'm excited. I love you guys. It's awesome. We are gonna do a stream. I told my mom, I asked her, I was like, so mom, like, what do you think if I go and I did a stream on Christmas Eve? And I told her about all this, and you know, I come from a church family, so she said, go do it. She said, what do you mean? There's all these people there? And I was like, yeah, they're kind of all nerdy like me. We all like to sit on the computer. She's like, well, that's what you like to do anyways. So I was like, all right, I feel, but she said I have to tell you guys this. She said I have to tell every single one of you that if I am going to stream on Christmas or Christmas Eve, that I have to let you all know, remind you what Christmas is really about, that Jesus loves you and that you are special and have a plan. Those are her words. That's the words of a 56-year-old immigrant from Egypt. So that's what I had to say, but now we're on for the stream at 6 a.m. I hope you guys are ready. But yeah, I love you guys. Enough of this lovey-dovey shit. Let's get to it and what I want to talk about. Let's see, you guys realize making these videos gives me such a workout. I have this little tripod here, but it works. So I want to talk about China, and I guess the prediction I'm making, there's two things here, you know. One, I'm making a prediction. I think the trade talks, I kind of already thought this from day one, but I don't think the trade deal is going to go through at all, especially come February, March. And I'm saying that now, and that's the title of the video. However, it could change. And what I mean, and you know, that's just, like I've said this in the other video, just the political landscape, the volatility of Trump, the stock market, that I think it could change. And now, why am I even talking about this? Because I don't, you know, go look at the last video I said with the black swan. The issues right now is going to be, you know, monetary policy, the financial credit liquidity situation within the United States, and then the next aspect is how that's reflected through demand, and now the biggest driver in growth, China. And I want to talk about that because I don't think a lot of people understand how much China affects the stock market in 2015. And that's the crazy part. I've been talking about this for a while, where if anybody who's watched me, anybody who's been in the streams, and anyone who knows me really, you know, if we look at this on the scale of, you know, from 2015, I've been calling, I feel like I've been in the Big Short. I've been calling this, you know, years ago, but then the market went up right after. So it's the timing of it. But China is that gray swan. It's a big issue, but people don't realize how big they affect us. So the first thing I'm going to tell you guys to have you get a grasp is understand both the companies that are weighted on the S&P, like Alibaba, but more importantly, the amount of revenue that comes from China. So S&P companies like Nike, Apple, you know, and most companies you and I know and could think of, they get about, this was as of 2016, 17. The numbers, it stayed around the same because global growth hasn't really been increasing, but the issue is that about 30% of the revenue comes from overseas, and that's including China. I think about 20-something% is China, and then the rest is like Europe and whatnot. But you put the numbers together, just like saying if all S&P companies lost 30% of their earnings, or that's where a lot of companies are getting their growth. Like Nike is this very good, solid company. They make a lot of money and they're awesome, but you can't expect that stock to appreciate and have a lot of growth unless they're getting, you know, those markets like China, Europe, and, you know, we could go over the filings and you guys could see it. But that's the first issue, is that, you know, there's a big connection between S&P performance and China profits. You know, the trade war is very, very serious, which a lot of people don't understand. Now, the next thing I want to discuss and look over is the developments of everything with China, this trade war. And it leads me, I'm gonna make another video on this. It's probably my craziest theory, and I go back and a couple things. I bring up my friend, you guys saw in that video, he's the one buying that $3 million condo in New York. You know, he owns the fund with me, and he's running it. He's the one who brought me on in China with our fund there. So it's, you know, we've been going back and forth. I've told him my theory on this, in that he knows how crazy I am. I don't want to be crazy with you guys, but the potential implications of what this trade war could lead to is huge. However, statistically, odds, you know, political game theory, prisoner's dilemma, it wouldn't make sense to escalate it at that point, but there could be huge escalations. This is, in a sense, what's going on with China in a weird way is a Cold War, and we have another Cold War with Russia. I won't even talk about that, but it's very interesting. It's very weird, and things are escalating really fast. The big things, I said it in one of the video, I brought up the Huawei CFO, Wang Xingguo, whatever, her, but then the situation has developed dramatically since then. So that's one of the big things. I talked about it, but the problem with that is the unprecedented level of what this just did for trade competition. It just went from trade competition and business competition to physical altercations. You know, somebody commented on this, and they said that it's not a world of economic competition and competing in that sense. It's now you could get arrested. This is the first time ever the US set the precedent, or Canada, but essentially having it get to the point where what the fuck's that car doing? You know, having it get to the point where you're now arresting a business person or an entrepreneur for something related to the country or a political agenda, which is insane. You know, that brings up now all of us. I could get arrested now if I go to China. That's a scary thought. That's going to change the political landscape. That changes investors. Let me finish this video before I go into the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. I don't want to be distracted because this is an important video. You know what I'm saying? But we out here. You see, we're at the nice Chick-fil-A. You know, we got Mama a Nice Pad in the rich white people area. They got the nice-ass Chick-fil-A. Even though when I pull up to an LA, Beverly Hills ain't even. They only got one in Beverly. And this is fucked up, man. Y'all white people in San Diego. See, I had to mess around for a little bit. But what I'm saying is that just changes business, and what that even means for like investors and doing business in like future business and future values. That's scary. But then right after, China arrested Canadian people. Then I think they released some, they let her out on bail. But then there was more negative talks, and again, I have people in China, I have this, and what I know with China and the culture, it is insane the way the US is talking. And this was a debate. I mentioned this earlier, but this is a bit, I think it's been confirmed. And they haven't been discussing it. This is one of the reasons why after the ceasefire, the market gave up, because there is actually news reports of that the US doesn't agree with the narrative. So they did come to an agreement, but how the US is parading and toting it, and even the responses by some of these people regarding China, it's insane. It's very disrespectful, very, very rude. And now the next thing a lot of people missed, some people talked about it, the Xi Jinping 40th anniversary speech of China's reform, and he even brought it up, and he said there's so many one-liners. He said, I'm going to focus on a few, but he said this is no longer the same China as before, and he said we're not going to get pushed around. It was a really defensive statement. This was to his people, was translated from Mandarin, but there's that. The next big thing he said that was very cautious or scary, and it makes sense with this whole political, and I think he's just preparing to get ready to drive this trade war deeper. He said that there's going to be financial, god damn, beautiful people in San Diego. But, damn, this guy, what did he say? He said, I was thinking about the quote from Xi Jinping. It was a big one. I don't want to mess it up. I have to probably look in the text I sent my friend, because I sent it to him. Let's see, Chinaman. That's what my business partner is in my phone as, Chinaman. He said, Xi Jinping said China may face unimaginable difficulties ahead. And that's huge for them to say and admit. and even with the economy. But he pretty much, a lot of the talk was just directed on, we're not going to do what people tell us what to say. We're not going to back into demands, even if we need to do it. We're not, pretty much they're saying they're not going to respond to that attitude and how it's going, and things are escalating. And that's where it kind of is leading. I think there's one more part with China, but you know, the talks are coming out. We're going to see what's happening with Christmas, but now with the rate hikes, with everything how it's playing out and how some of the jawboning isn't working, I could expect those talks to, I think they're ultimately going to be a big factor in conjunction, because go watch the Black Swan video I posted yesterday. If it's not going to be that, if it's not going to be related to the Fed, debt, government ceiling, something political, then the real economic side of this is China failing. The trade talk is a halfway point, right? That is both political and economic at the same time. But at the same, you know, the next point I'm waiting for is that to lead into, ultimately, as the longer these play on, it's happening. You know, you're seeing the effect everywhere, literally everywhere, from home builders to the prices of your Christmas trees. Prices are going up. It's affecting people's livelihoods. It's taken, you know, think about it. This was announced in January. You know, the trade wars was the beginning of the year, or, you know, and everyone was cool with it. Market dropped a little, went up, or it was before that. It was in 2017. And then look, 1 year of time goes by. Now see the numbers. Now see the outlook. If it goes on for another 6 months, 8 months, that's when it gets bad. And now in conjunction with the government shutdown, all that, that's where it gets really, really bad. So you got to be careful with that in understanding how this is working. But what I'm saying is, China is the economic thing related with oil that will have just, that could slow demand and growth and all that. But at the end of the day, you know, it's, this January to March is going to be important. Don't underestimate China. These trade talks, don't think just because we've been focusing on rate hikes, this and that, you know, understand what everything is connected to always at all times. So I'll leave you at that. Hope you guys like that. Good morning. Let me know what other videos you guys want today. I have a few I need to talk about. I'm going to talk another one on China. Some other things we're going to stream on Monday. So get ready. I love you. Stay in school. Enjoy the day, man. It's a great day. Study your plays that you won. Study you lost on. Really get in the game, and you keep staying excited, man. I said it in that day. The video after, I said the market was going to gap down. I made money, and then the next day, it didn't go down. It dropped down and then went up, and I made a video and I said, I still think the market's gonna go down, and I talked about it in the video, how you have to have the excitement and always be there, because if you're shifting your trades and how you're trading, or how much you study on your trading and putting into it based on if you're winning or losing or the market, and you're only on based on your attitude and how you feel, that's gonna fluctuate. You've gotta always stay in there and stay excited. So whether you've lost money, whether you've made money, come in brand new, take a look. It doesn't change that there's opportunity here. There's still going to be an opportunity on Monday and the next week, but you're bringing in whatever happened yesterday, last week into it. Just forget that. I get it. You may have lost money. You could be up a lot of money. Both of those situations are damaging to you. So clear it out, get ready, stay excited, and put in that focus. I love you guys. Peace.